Yeah. Um, I want to talk about, I want to lend my voice about this news that has been making around the social media. The news about Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche, yeah, for arresting a young man who was invited in a podcast to, you know, talk about his experience in his pastoral work. I won't call it calling, pastoral work with Paul Enenche in Dunamis Church. The young man, talking about his experience or experiences as a pastor in Dunamis Church and as a pastor in general, made some revelations, said some certain things. But when the moderator of the podcast asked him a question about the miracles, so to speak, being performed in Dunamis Church, as claimed by Dr. Paul Enenche, the young man said that those miracles are false miracles, right? Yeah. Now, because of that, and other things that he said, in general, as regards to his experience as a pastor, Paul Enenche now arrested him for defamation of character. Okay? Right. That is where the whole thing got me interested. Defamation of character. I want to ask anybody that will come across this video, and even Dr. Paul Enenche and any of his members, I want to ask, who actually now did this young man deform his character? Is it Paul Enenche, or is it God, or is it Jesus? Who among these three persons now did this young man actually deform his character? Who among these three mentioned now is in the right position to arrest this young man? I want to understand and I want to know. You see, this is why truth are very difficult to be told. Yes, this is why people shy away from saying the truth. I want to tell you, I am in line with that young man. I support that young man 100%. Those their miracles are false. They are liars. Okay, common logic here. Paul Enenche is a medical doctor by profession. And I believe his wife also is a medical doctor by profession, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. What stops Dr. Paul Enenche? What stops him from establishing a hospital? At least, at least a clinic. At least a clinic. And let's see what will happen. These guys know what they're doing. Paul Enenche knows it very well that if he tries to open up, establish a hospital or a clinic, claiming to be performing these miracles in the church, blind seeing, lame walking, deaf hearing, dumb speaking, and all the rest of them, that people will flood his hospital for him to perform those miracles that he has been performing in the church on them in his hospital. They know all that, and he can't do it. You see, I don't blame them. I blame the government. of Nigeria. One, who have impoverished the masses and made the masses lose their senses that they don't even understand what is going on in their lives anymore. Go to the developed world. Nobody play these kind of pranks again. Nobody play these pranks on people. Now, secondly, if these pastors that claim to be performing these miracles, if the government have put them on check, if you claim you have performed any miracle, you bring medical report, proof that you performed so and so miracle. The government will have to look into it. Well, what do you have to say about Nigeria? Nigeria is a country where everything goes. Yes, the leaders are corrupt, the politicians are corrupt, the pastors are corrupt, everybody is corrupt. So what do you expect? Even if the federal government come up with such, a law or come up with such a measure to checkmate all these fake pastors with their fake miracles, the fake pastors will also bribe their way through. Oh yes, they will bribe their way through. You can imagine where a pastor came out in his congregation, used microphone boldly to tell his congregation and tell the whole world that he bought his third private jet during the COVID-19. In Nigeria, that he bought his third private jet during the COVID-19. The COVID-19 that was ravaging the whole world, global epidemic that ravaged the whole world. And the part that touched me most in that his stupid statement was when he said that his wife called him, whether honey or darling or whatever, and said, oh, that she doesn't know that life could be this sweet. And again, him as a pastor opened his mouth to say that he prayed that COVID-19 should not stop, that he prayed for COVID-19 not to stop so that he will make more money. Okay? Okay, nobody would charge him for the deformation of character. Oh, everybody in the church, they were shouting, they were clapping. Stupid people, I may say. Oh, yes, no apologies. No apologies, because this thing is so annoying. Paul and Angel, why did you arrest that young man? You said he deformed your character. Okay, he deformed your character because the church is your personal business. Because if that church is God's property, you won't see the statement of that young man as deforming your own character. You will see it as deforming the character of God himself. You would have handed him over to God. That power that your God is using to perform that miracle would have dealt with the young man, not the police. Not the police. Paul and Nench, I'm talking to you. Not the police. Look at, this is what all of you do. Every little time you run to the police. Hey, is that what you preach? The book of Matthew, God said, Jesus said, when they slap you on this cheek, turn the other one, let them woos you the same slap. But because somebody talked, you couldn't bear it. You saw it as deforming your character. Because the church is your business center, is your company. Is where you're doing your business. You don't want anybody that will run down your business, because it is not God's business. If it is or were to be God's business, you would have allowed God to handle his business. Yes, you are not the only one doing this. Ibiome of Port Harcourt, of Salvation Ministry, did it to one lady. He did it. You all are known for that. Mark of Lost Chosen, because this young man what's the name? Very dark black man said something, and that was when he now remembered that he had power. He now was telling Nigerians how his power dealt with very dark black man. But look at how Nigeria is. You pastors that claim to have all these powers could not make Nigeria a better place with all these your spiritual powers, or should I call it spiritual nonsense? You couldn't make Nigeria a better place. Yes. Adeboye said he prayed, and that was why a $1, could not get to 10,000 naira for $1. Can you imagine that? So your prayer, God, your prayer did not, allow dollar to get to, 10,000 naira, $1 equal to 10,000 naira. But your prayer could not stop hunger and starvation in Nigeria. What a nonsense. What an arrant nonsense. And the one that bothers, the area that bothers me most is that you will see people sit down under this fake businessmen on the pulpit that call themselves pastors, listen to this garbage, shout amen, and clap for them. Yes. Yes. Should anybody say, no, this thing is not right, let us look at this thing. Let us analyze this. Is this true? Did this thing happen this way? The next thing, you call police on the person. Paul Enenche and his cohorts. Let me tell you, even the Bible said that Jesus Christ of Nazareth was going about doing good. Was going about doing good. But the miracles only happen in you people's coven. That is in your business center. That is where all these your miracles happen. Go to the street and perform one. There are too many beggars on the street. Jesus was performing his own, according to the Bible. Jesus was performing his own on the street. Majorly on the street. He didn't run any church. Jesus never had any church. Jesus never opened any church, never opened any ministry. Jesus never carried any title, pastor, bishop, reverend, doctor, or whatever. No, he didn't, according to the Bible. Why don't you go? There are too many sick people in the hospital. Even in that Abuja where you are, Paul Enenche, go to the hospitals and perform those miracles. Go to Abuja street. There are so many crippled people on the street. There are so many blind people on the street. There are so many, deaf and dumb on the street begging. Go to the street and you people guys should go to the street. Listen, Nigerians, let me tell you, if these guys cannot go to the street and perform these miracles to prove all this nonsense, stop believing them. They are all liars. They are all criminals. I said so. If they take a look at that. Paul Enenche, let me ask you. Look at the buzzwords you had with Dr. Abel Damina. Abel Damina claimed he ordained you. You said no. In the process, you called him a rat. And did he arrest you? He didn't. By every thing, he's your senior in the ministry. He's senior in the ministry. You were trying to debunk what he said and all the rest of them. Look at that buzzwords. Does that make you people men of God? You are mammon of gods. That's what you guys are. You are not serving God. You are serving your stomach. You are serving mammon. You're there doing your business. What did that young man do now that they should arrest him? He deformed your character. Which character do you guys have? If that church is God's property, should it not be God now that he deformed his character? Why not allow God, that same God that is using his power to perform those miracles? Why don't you tell God, say, okay, look at what this young man said though. He said that all these miracles that you have been performing in this church is false. I beg, go and convince him, go and visit him and let him know that these miracles were not false. But instead, he decided to use police. Even any right-thinking person will know that you are fake. That all of you that do this thing in Nigeria, that you all are fake. Yes. Nobody will talk. You go to the police. Yes. Look at this one they call Prophet Jeremiah or Momo or Mototo Fefefe. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Look at what they started doing with Very Dark Man. Because Very Dark Man said, let there be proof that these things who will truly walk the things you claim they are walking. You sell rainbow, you sell thunder, you sell key, you sell this, you sell blood of Jesus, you sell what? And when I watch him in his congregation, I see people sitting down there listening to all this garbage that he went and collected key from God, and he was selling the key. He sell water. What on earth is that man not selling? What? What? I can't even mention them all. But you still have people, you still have congregants, you still have people sitting under him, listening to all this nonsense. And you don't see, this is 21st century. It's no longer 1970s, where all lies were being cooked and deceived people, and nobody could ask questions. Look at Kumuyi, who came up now to say, okay, there are so many errors, so many mistakes, so many things that I said that were not right, so many doctrines, so many teachings. I want to correct them. I want to correct everything that I've said, in this church that is not right. I want to correct them. What happened? His pastors, some pastors in his church went on fasting and prayer that Kumuyi had backslided. Can you imagine? Do you see the power of false doctrine? Do you see the power of false teaching? The people that he taught, he himself that taught them now realized, he knew, not that he realized, he knew from day one that what he was saying was wrong. He now said, okay, I'm old now. This is time for me to amend my own ways and set the record straight and put things right. He said, let me correct these things. Unlike Adeboye, who is bent on continuing doing what he's doing, not having a remorse to say, no, with my age now, I have to correct some certain things and tell the people the real truth. Then some pastors in Deeper Life went into fasting and prayer for Kumuyi that he have backslided. Does that make sense? No, does that make sense? You now know more than your rabbi. You now know more than your teacher. So please, this nonsense got to stop. If Nigerian government is genuine, let them look into all this. Because the pastors in Nigeria, they have taken it above, they have taken it above, a bearing level. Everything now have become, their actions and their attitude and their practices in Nigeria have become so unbearable that you don't even know who is who, which is which, and what is what anymore. As far as I'm concerned, because I know what they are doing, I know what they are doing. I know. I tell you, I know. When I say I know, believe you me, I know. Thank you. If you are attending any of these churches in Nigeria, be careful. Be careful. Because all you receive every time is false prophecies, fake promises, and all the rest of them. And things have things have remained the way it has been. No change. No change. They have washed your brain. You can't even think. You can't even reason. How much more see because you can't hear. Thank you. Till I come your way again in my next video. Remain blessed. I love you. Bye.